Not Genji. She's not wearing any. Look absolutely stunning.
You really do, all of these.
Absolutely gorgeous. Down in the bathroom or down in the kitchen, there's a huge box full of different.
Is he nervous yet?
Do you want these lights on, photographer? Had you put them on purposely?
Yes, please.
Okay. Oh, very smart. Right. Go downstairs.
Very handsome yourself.
Suzanne, can I just adjust your front?
Suzanne, I'm really sorry to bother you with this, but do you know where the other battery is? Because it's just gone.
It should be in a Waitrose bag in there, or else it's down in the hall.
Well, then put that one on charge again.
Yeah, can you show her how to do it?
I don't know how, but I'm sure I'll find out.
Shall I come down then?
I'm careful.
Yeah, don't tread on that. No, it's all right. Just don't go too close behind her. Can you hang on and I'll come back?
Yeah, I wonder if we.
You want this down?
Suzanne, you want a bit of toast?
No, thank you.
Are you
No, I'm fine, really. I'm not hungry.
Right, yeah. If we can have the flowers, I'll take a couple of you by the settee here, and then perhaps we'll do the other ones outside with the bridesmaids and your parents.
Yeah.
If you're all ready.
Mum? Yeah? Can we dry my nails off?
I'm just going to do it. Hang on. No, don't get. Not me, please. Yeah.
Hello. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks. Yes, there's no
Just arrived. Just arrived. Jules. Which side is the
Right on the left as you go
right
in.
on the left?
As you go in.
Two frames up front, the green one. It's on the right. And then I was going to think it was a different
Right, see you.
Picture of us together.
Feel like death.
short hair.
Really?
Okay, very sensible. Someone might sit on it.
Ken, the Rolls Royce is not for us, unfortunately, but some other time.
I don't think we'd have found a way without it.
What colour is it? Not that you told me. Take it up again.
You haven't changed though. Still wearing the same hat.
Yeah, the hat's got bigger, but
They're all small things that we need to stack out just right.
she messed up my way.
Like, read it anyway. Like,
Sweet, you said that.
okay. A bit from a book by, very nice. Very nice Basil Hume, I think he's on Berkeley Archbishop.
Yes, that's right. It seems ridiculous.
Yes, when we're all sort of
You've got to get around.
Is that
How are you?
Yes,
Yes, you and me both.
She just likes attention. Just after them like who does up stuff? I don't know.
No problem, no problem.
That one. Wait till later till we sit.
Oh, is it?
Yes, Sylvia's son. Yes.
Please come in, come in.
Thank you.
Oh, one each. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Well, at the moment we've got a bit too many for the old bride. Not too many for the
It's a bit late for me.
You shouldn't have given him that gun, should you?
Hello.
Get on with it.
Right, okay then.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, there he is. In fact, let's have it as though you're just raising your hat to the other hand. Behind with the hat, don't see it. No, you're all right. Okay, look happy about it all.
We're holding
Come on,
it
do
up
something.
out of Charlie.
Okay.
Okay. I had to go for this one. Quick one. Come boys, you're not going to get away with that.
Oh, Sean. Oh, thank you.
When they come out, you did it after last, didn't you? We sign registers imminently, can't we?
You do that when you go through or in the bottom of the show? You like to finish it all neatly?
I like to get the driving signs once.
Is that a bigger one, should I?
Yeah, we can find it.
I'm wondering about my home.
Are you? Are you alright? Yeah.
I'm all on my own. I don't want to be right.
You all right, mate?
How long did you find it easily? Oh, yeah. No problem.
Oh, good. Russell's instructions were confirmed. You're very pretty girl.
Thank you.
You're very pretty girl.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's your perfect.
But a good friend of mine suggested that she'd ride her lawnmower over them. Oh, jolly decent.
That's a splendid idea. Yes, it's very easy and relaxing for you then,
It
isn't
was
it?
really good of her because she had loads of things to do.
And she was.
Have to offer.
Right, let me open the car door.
Now,
Now then.
you'll have to...
Where's the chief bridesmaid?
Sarah Deacon!
Sarah Deacon, your presence is required. If you'd like to take charge of that for a minute.
Thank you. Now, hang on a minute. I want to be very careful here. All these bits, look.
Right, okay.
Many bits.
Yeah.
Can you, very, very quickly, all of you, the bridesmaids as well, just nip round to the other side of the car so we can get a shot with the car.
Come on. Round the side. Yeah.
If you
I never learned, do I?
Get your wedding hat on.
Yeah, I could have had that on my own.
Recognised her now, her face. I thought she was a stick insect when she was not.
Well, Russ, what do you think of it?
Lovely.
She looked
Beautiful.
Yeah?
Beautiful.
Hey, they might start without you.
Am I ready then?
Are you ready for it?
Yeah. Ready.
Ready for the action?
Ready for the action.
How about the car?
Oh, I had a mirror as a roller. Sing now.
Oh, I'm not going to sing.
Get one of them for myself.
Just join then.
I guess so.
Yeah.
You sing it, Sarah. You
Come on,
sing
sing.
it.
Yeah, I'm doing a solo.
There's a front row for you people. So,
Hi, Sean.
See you, may I? Hello, sweetheart. Basically, you're in the front row, chap.
Oh, good.
That was
Reserve seat.
Is
reserve
Philip
seats,
here
of
all
course.
right?
Yes, Philip's here all right. Having a bit of trouble with his cufflinks earlier, but he's here.
Yeah, right. Was he? It's sorted.
Give us a arm.
I'm here. Do you want to go? Yeah. Or no, we can go together. So it doesn't matter actually. At one point we can go towards the left when they do the bows. They're looking at each other. They're not just this wall.
into which holy estate these two persons present come now to be joined. Therefore, if any man can show any just cause, while they may not lawfully be joined together, let him now speak, or else hereafter forever hold his peace. I require in charge of both that you will answer with the dreadful day of judgment when the secrets of all hearts shall be disclosed. Let if either of you know, you may or you may not, and lawfully be joined together in matrimony, you do now confess it, or be well assured that so many as are coupled together otherwise as God's word doth allow, and not joined together otherwise, neither is their matrimony called.
read
Yes,
the
Mr. Bride can take hold of... Oh, right.
We all have a hand in it.
Right, that's it, that's great.
Complete with envelope.
Stuff envelope to go with it, eh?
Look up.
It's getting hotter by the minute. It's getting hotter by the minute. Here she comes.
Do you want her now?
Let's have a real rocky photograph.
It is, isn't it?
Is it? Yeah. Imagine.
Right, yeah. Actually, didn't jack it up. Yeah, that's the last one.
I didn't, but I'll have it done up this time.
Just take forward. All right, you can take his arm. Is it her arm, isn't it?
Yeah.
Don't go away. You must have some family. Are there any more? Is this the full complement?
Who's eligible? Your mother's eligible.
Is this immediate family?
Yes,
Girlfriend's
family. Well, she can stay. She's almost,
There you are,
isn't
come on
she?
then.
As close as you can get without.
Exactly.
Can we do some of this at back home? Simply because a lot of people get a bit bored and they're dying of thirst.
Yeah. I'm just happy with it if you think you can get them together again.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, we can get them.
Okay, well, we'll do this.
That was quick. Did you have a good trip?
He doesn't have to move it for us.
I'm trying to film everyone arriving.
I'm fine. Are you still? Only can park the car here tonight?
No, well, if we do. If we do, we do.
No cameras.
Hello.
No cameras.
I know. That's my horrible voice. Right.
Hello.
Oh, Nick.
I'm filming everyone arriving.
Oh, on your 20th wedding anniversary. Well,
When I brought this over to Moses gave me these jeans. Yeah, I know. Hello. Nick.
Hello, John.
Didn't know it was on
Mad
film.
idea, but I just thought.
Nice to see you.
You can zoom in and out, you know, Fi.
Sorry.
Right, to the car. That's gorgeous, right there. Look at that. Lovely. That is. Cheers, mate. Come on.
A pleasure. Anytime. Just let me know.
Thank you. I'm a Bailey. Oh, there's no going back. There's no going back. John's just I went swimming and
Just a moment, ladies. Can you back up just a fraction? Right. All right, right. Yeah. Can we have one without glasses this time? Yeah,
Let's go.
You're pussy.
That's the garter.
Gotcha.
Not mine.
Get your garter out.
I slipped off the right.
Right, girls, your time has come. At the camera for the first one. Take this way. Now looking at the bridal couple, look at the bride.
Oh, why not?
Get that man away with that camera. We've got some jeans for you, Sean.
Yeah, we've got some
Congratulations, Mrs. Brown. Mrs. Bailey, I beg your pardon, wrong family. Congratulations. Yes.
Yeah.
Didn't think it would reach over the end of my collar. It didn't work his way up. You got him. No. He could start firing.
I think he's thinking about it. I think he's got it in his mind now.
I certainly.
You'll be doing it now. You're doing competition now.
Yeah.
I never got round to actually asking. They said there'd been a.
You was in trouble already.
Yes, we're now fetching on tape having to talk about wearing boxer shorts.
Yeah, good job.
So were you pretty good with the...
Were you pretty good with
Go for it now.
I know, do it properly.
Smile at the camera now.
How you doing? Good. Yeah, very well.
Stress-free life. I recommend it strongly.
Please no, look at that.
Yeah, very good. How's it going?
Kind of a shock.
Yes.
joke when I got the opportunity as well. It's a much bigger garden, Sylvan's garden. The dreadlocks, it's Phil. One of the Ashes. He's a lovely chap. He really is. Yeah, he's a smashing guy. You like him?
Who's that one now? Talking next to Dad.
Nick
Have
talking
they
about
there? Somewhere, and I can't think where.
Not familiar with him at all. Here we are, I don't know. Cheers.
I just want to meet. Oh, wow.
I saw him when we went to the Linda said something about you can tell usually who puts a stamp on marriage by the way that they walk away from the altar. And come on.
Oh, this is the bossy one then.
Who needs bosses? It was an excellent wedding. It was really fun. The service was really like, alright. Yeah, it was a nice one.
Jade looks cute.
Yeah, she does, doesn't she? And who else? Somebody else is wearing a dress I've made here as well. I can't think who it is now. I just saw someone else wearing an outfit that.
Phil's over here. She's not
Phil!
finally killed her.
Oh, yes, it's now squashed against one.
The fly that's been bugging you.
There he is again!
Getting not tonight, no. 19th now.
No, that story one.
Yeah, she did probably do.
She said you had to run back.
Not yet, no. It's just you with your children.
Does it matter if we have glasses?
This is your glasses. Right, can you move over this way then, please?
Come on.
Better with the video. Right.
Yeah.
Gorgeous hat, guys.
Just have your arm there, That's it.
You always think the fingers look a bit funny pointing through the arm, but I don't know. What? Not your fingers.
Twice.
Who's that man flashing?
This way then, please. Camera.
Camera.
Yeah.
Camera.
Thank you.
Right, now if we can bring the partners in. Suzanne.
Suzanne.
Quiddy.
Oh. And have you anybody special here?
Borrow someone.
Right, this one's yours.
As though you didn't know.
Hello,
Right.
Mrs.
Can you
Bailey.
change places? Change places.
You may call me Mrs. Bailey.
Here we go, chaps. Look at the camera. Come on.
Yes,
Cheese.
please.
Champagne in my orange. I like Bucks Fizz.
No talking, just smiling.
Yeah, cheese.
Stop pinching me.
Now.
I'll tell me to that.
Oh, that was the wrong way round. I meant it the other way round.
Are we balanced?
Right.
Photograph of balance.
Yeah, if the gentleman behind can sort of stand between, even if it means touching another member.
How do I say? Touching.
To the member of what? If you move. The opposite. Come forward.
Especially if it's a member of the family.
Yeah.
Right, can you move out?
It's the real stuff, is it?
Okay, yeah, sorry, he's moving up. Everybody move along about one place. No, you come forward, madam. There. Can you move, all move along one space there? Can you move along as well, please? So look at one space. He has to have a little bit more room than usual because of the hat. That's it. Right, can you move along another place?
Gladly, have we? I could have been a lot worse.
You could have been your dress. Can I have it for Dusters on my motorbike, please?
You come up close.
You couldn't have fooled it, mate. Hey.
An extra bit on the end.
Dustin! Yes! Doesn't he look like Dustin Hoffman? He does look like Dustin Hoffman.
Not this one again.
You've got to do some serious editing here.
Oh, your face.
Whereabouts? From which angle?
It's amazing. Have you seen a baby? I have indeed. Yeah, I'll get him to break wind in front of the video.
Aaron, your lovely card made me cry last night. I was just overwhelmed. It was just beautiful. It really was. You've got an excellent excuse for not being one of my bridesmaids. Oh, you going to me, Kath, can I cover you for the kids? No. I'll be over soon.
I hinted at somebody else.
Deteriorating, Olga.
Squash my... Don't touch me back. Big breath, big breath.
Julie's got the best cleavage of us all.
I think actually Suzanne's got the best.
Well, no, Suzanne, obviously.
No, she's not curious.
It's a really good dress.
Yeah,
Shape
it
and
is.
everything.
Perfect.
Right hand, chaps. Deep. Top up with filler up, right hand belt, Jacko. For purely photographic reasons.
I'm sure he's not going to notice that much.
Fairly full.
Yeah. Come on. Come on.
I hope it's cold. Coldish, that will do. Whoa. I must start staying down on this.
Why?
What for?
What's the point? You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
There, Buffalo.
I get the rest. Yeah, the rest.
Come on, get in there. Come on, finish it off. Lovely job, man.
Thank you.
Beautifully forward.
I'll tip you later.
Okay, gentlemen.
Okay.
To the camera. Not right in front of your face.
Yeah, hold it out.
Okay,
Sort of.
that's it. Good.
No less.
Right, can you do one lining up as well? Sort of one behind the other. The bridegroom comes in the front for that one.
Right.
Better have.
Oh,
God,
it's that man with that
cheers
camera again.
I know.
This man behind.
Still got a drink in my hand every time.
Right. Sort of in a line like
Like
that.
this.
Okay. I think it's your next tallest, so you've got to come in here.
Yeah. I mean, we're actually sloping down a lawn here. This is not fair. This is
And there's
really
me,
not
yeah.
fair.
I'm only 2 foot tall.
Right, okay, good enough.
Right,
Can't trust
what a
him.
body of men, eh? Look happy.
We're happy.
We are.
We're happy.
We believe it. Some of that?
Yeah!
Actually, hold the glasses in the other hand, because otherwise you can have it up in front of the next person's face.
Right.
Yeah.
Right,
Sounds good. It's a good idea. but-
Right hand.
Balancing on one leg.
Hang on.
So
Somebody here all
don't stand.
Not have
Glass behind you.
Oh yeah,
So
out
it's
the way.
outside. We'll sort out, boys. We'll
Don't
sort
show the
it out,
glasses.
boys.
Don't show the glasses.
Come on,
Yes,
penguin.
open the glasses. In the other hand.
Oh right, up here.
No,
up there.
Oh,
Not
right.
this
Some of
hand. Yes, forget about this hand.
Yeah.
What is it?
You
want to give it all of that? Leg out.
What's going on?
Right.
Leg,
Get your leg
leg
over.
out.
Nicholas.
Oh, I like the socks.
Lift this beautiful lady up, that's it.
Well, some of them don't like doing that. But we'll do it sometimes.
Can we have one with the Queen?
Okay, do it. A Madonna shot.
No, this is it.
Yes. Let's have one with the Queen.
This young lady.
But you've got to carry
This young lady.
across your hands. You know, so
This
she's
young
falling
lady.
Okay.
Not the bride being held by the neck.
You know what I'm doing. Now, boys, you go on.
You can't carry her around.
I think you're going to mess the dress up here, aren't you?
The head to...
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
Anyone
glass.
splits my dress and they're in big trouble.
We'll be able to hold your glasses, boys. Does anybody else want us to hold their glasses?
Come on, someone don't get his back. I don't mind. That's okay.
Boys, show us your muscles. Come on. Mind these bits. I'm not that heavy.
Actually, the bridegroom doesn't actually have to participate in this.
You're holding
He's a
her.
passive watcher.
On my shoulder.
Well equipped. You're not missing anything, are you?
Taking it horizontal.
The shoulder for each
Ready? Go flowing down.
Go.
Yeah, and keep it that way. Hang on.
There we go.
Nice cleavage, Sue. Honest, you bashful thing.
Come on, help me! This is funny!
That's my point. I'll cry if I want
He's on his nice
cleavage shot.
That was very cheeky. You didn't help at all.
I tried, Suzanne. You know me.
Goddamn reprobate.
Suzanne, come like
No
this.
idea was that.
Cousin.
I thought you were having a shave for my wedding day.
I was running so late this morning.
Oh, yeah.
Honest to God, I had to go out. I had to get my suit. I had to buy you a present. I had to find my coat. And I was having trouble.
I feel you've got a large head.
George, the try that you had at France.
They're all not, they're all carrying on. So I said to Trish, I'm going to have jumping in. She said, no, you're not, it's not Europe. No, I'll get him talking. St. Sebastian. Well, actually, this is really what changed it, because this other girlfriend of mine, Margaret, she been married or he had. They went to the church. It's too much now. But it had to be a blessing. Get them. Right. Very well thought out. Well done, Bob.
Do you want us to do
Have you been called?
Yeah, we have. There have been some.
Ready to go. Well, I'm glad I'm not sitting next to this.
Debbie next to me. Then Maggie and Robert's over there.
Oh, you're Aunt Nadia's favourite, are you?
Yes, in this hot weather, it's, I nearly wore. I thought, no, I don't. I just
You did a magnificent job at the church.
You got your shoes on. They want to lay down. Is he crying?
I think I'm going to consult.
I thought Roy would have been kind. You could have done better.
Yeah, Norma's cute.
Oh, I just want to do my hair.
But you won't be able to do it in the car.
Not fair, I'm looking at the table seat. Hi.
Ladies and gentlemen, one moment please. Mr. Robert Norton, whose music you've been enjoying for about the last hour, has written a piece specially for Suzanne and Nicholas's wedding today, and we'd be very grateful to hear it from Robert. Thank you.
Dig, man. There goes back to night. The shark has pretty teeth, dear, and he shows them a pearly white. Just a jackknife has Mac Heat, dear, and he keeps it out of sight. When the shark bites with his teeth, dear, scarlet billows start to spread. Fancy gloves, though, wears Mackie, dear, so there's not a trace of red on the sidewalk. Sunday morning, baby, lies a body oozing life. Someone sneaking around the corner. Is there someone Mac the knife from a tugboat by the river? I see cement bags drooping down. Yes, the cement's just for the weight, dear. Bet you Mac he's back in town. Look at here, Louis Miller disappeared, dear, after drawing out his cash. And Mac Heat spends like a sailor. Did our boy do something rash? Suki Tawdry, Jenny Diver, Lottie Lanyard, Sweet Lucy Brown. Oh, the line forms on the right, dears. Now that Mackie's back in town. Take it, Satch.
I'm behaving. I just thought it'd be nice to meet girls. Good evening. I told Nick and Suzanne I would get a little
What'd she say?
Rebby.
There's no light on. It's very nice dessert. You're missing out.
Just have to get a few little shots of all their mates. Hi, Moy. Hi, Moy. Hi, Gilsey. Got a funny eye. And it's Rod here, yeah.
Oh, is this mine as well?
Oh, good one. That was saved for later, weren't you, really?
You in charge of that thing?
No, the key's in the car. I left it there, I don't remember.
What's this?
Lean back, lean back.
Please don't look in my eyes. Nice one, Kate.
Hello, Suzanne. Hello, sweetheart.
Another cigarette, and we haven't got any on this table. Yeah, it's not smokers, man. Don't have to smoke.
Happens when you do what you love.
Did you have any dessert?
Nope. And then I had a little taste really nice. Because I'm not really a dessert person. What's that? Paddy. Thanks.
I can only do this about lunch tomorrow. Wedding cake, you need to fun. You're in the next people they bring together.
Yeah.
It could not be when I'll find
The age group is very true. Yeah. And different societies as well. I mean, it's usually we're in English wedding. It's my first year met up with Australians and New Zealanders at the same time. It's weird. Like
Australians?
Bizarre.
They're more here.
Yes, an Aussie there.
What was a bit of funny way you talk?
Ooh, I'd watch it. There's 2 against 1. Every task. So, do you think we just speak funny, do you?
Oh, I've heard it for a few years.
Yeah, right. Got the twang.
Returned from running the dogs and find out it was Rose quite nice.
Very nice lady.
Yes.
Running the
Too
dog.
much of a softie.
No. We're the best. Where is the best man? The best man. The best man is coming through. Have I told you my 3.5 minutes? Julian Stafford is going to say something very important in just a moment.
I think we're going to start with the cutting of the cake this evening now. And I'd like to ask Nick and Suzanne to come forward and actually cut the cake for us all to watch.
You can.
Please.
Okay.
Okay. I hope you've all enjoyed your meals. It's time for it's time to sit down and listen to a few words that we've all got to say about today's event. I'd like to introduce the first speaker today, Roy Barley, father of the bride. Right. So please give him a warm hand.
First of all, can you hear me at the back? No. I'd like to welcome you all for making this such a special day.
Are those your own teeth, Roy?
Funny you should say that. We've had 4 people fly in, especially from America, to commemorate this day, to make this day so much the more special for Suzanne and Nick. I'd like to thank 2 chums of mine also for their contribution to making this day that much, again, special. Clive Smith, for the use of his beautiful Lagonda car. Thank you, Clive.
Yeah.
And to Mike Smith, without whose garden I would be completely devastated. He lent me his garden, and Mike, I'm going to cut the lawn before I return it to you. In this, I would also like to thank Robert Norton for his wonderful piano playing, which moved me to tears this morning when I was listening to him. It was played from the heart, and anybody who responds to his music will probably have felt the same. I don't know. And I would also like to thank Judith Crichton for her catering. I think it was wonderful, and her staff for being so attentive and so helpful. And I'd like to thank Pat, who did the decorations, and everybody who had any part in this to make this such a wonderful and memorable day for us. Now, Kath and I, over the last week or 2, we have got through quite a few boxes of Kleenex, remembering the past. When our little girl was knee-high to a grasshopper, I was the first person in this world to see her born. I was at the receiving end, and she popped out so quickly, I could tell that this girl loved life. And life is where Suzanne is. The fact that she's met this young man, and they make each other so happy, is a testimony to her taste, I believe. And I'm also very grateful to Patrick and Margaret for bringing up such a fine young man. And I cannot think of a nicer boy for a son-in-law. And I'm sure we're going to get on great, even though he doesn't play golf. And thinking of the past, who says nostalgia is a thing of the past? Now, Suzanne, in her formative years, was very much a tomboy, and one never saw her as a woman, or a girl even. She looked like a little ragamuffin down the road. But look at her today. Have you ever seen such a more beautiful bride?
No.
one of the many, I suppose, inherited things she gets from her mother, who is also not a bad looking bird at her age. And you know, Nick, they say that if you look at the mother, you can see what your wife is going to be like in 25 years' time. And you're not on a bad trip, are you?
Thank you.
Right. Now, giving her away today was a very emotional experience for me, but also a relief, because somebody else is going to have to pay her Barclay card. Now, they have been cohabiting together for 4 years now, which, of course, to the older generation means living together and you know, the things that go with it. Which reminds me of a little story about the headmistress of a local girls' school who approached the vicar and asked him if he would give the girls a little talk on sex and morality within life. And so the vicar, who was a little bit embarrassed about this, didn't want to tell his wife that he was giving a talk on this subject, but told her instead that he was going to give her a talk on sailing, give them a talk on sailing, which he'd recently taken up. So his wife was a bit surprised about this because he didn't know very much about sailing. About a week later, the headmistress bumped into the vicar's wife in the post office, and she said, "That was a wonderful speech your husband gave the other day." And the vicar's wife, being puzzled, she said, "I can't understand it. He's only done it twice. The first time it made him sick, and the second time his hat blew off." Anyway, as Nick and Suzanne have grown together, their affections for each other it hasn't been an overnight success, shall we say. It's taken a bit of time, but they've become inseparable, except with a bucket of water and a crowbar. But I'm sure that the love they show for each other, if it endures, and I'm sure it will guarantee them a lifetime of happiness.
Yeah.
And I would ask you now to be upstanding to give the bride and groom the toast, happiness for the rest of their lives.
Bride and groom. Cheers. Bless you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've all listened to our host provide us with a very eloquent speech this evening.
Oh, John.
Now I feel it is time for the team captains to judge our host. So, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Roy, for your very kind words. The next person to speak is the bridegroom. It's quite difficult to stand up here and make a speech. Roy's just made it look very easy. So can you give a warm round of applause for Nick, who's just about to talk on his big day?
Thank you. I understand some of you have difficulty hearing me, so I'll speak up. What? Could I hear? Give me all the heckling now. Get out of the way. I feel a bit like an Oscar winner, standing up here and receiving the award and thanking all the people that have made it possible. I don't have time, unfortunately, to name everybody, but I would especially like to thank my producers. Mum and Dad. For their tremendous support and love. A large scale production this is, clearly. must also thank all of you for participating and attending, and to all the people that have worked on the whole production and made it possible. Thank you, all of you. Now we turn to the script. I've had a great script writer, Mr. Spangley here, who's been writing the screenplay for me. Over the last few weeks we've had some really very good lines, but sadly this is the only one that we're using. Now I realised that it would have been impossible for me to have won this award without a brilliant leading performance from the leading lady of my life. The bathroom scene in particular was terrific. Thought we were going to have the heckling at the beginning. I'm very lucky, I will admit that publicly. As they say in the best movies, this is the beginning of an even more wonderful relationship.
Yeah.
Above all, the directors of this piece, two very experienced people, Roy and Kath, who have managed to organise the whole thing and make it work like clockwork. I would like to thank them very much for their patience, their hard work, and their love and understanding, and also for their at least two works of art that they have created. Today's magnificent event and equally magnificent daughter. To them and to all the Barley family who have given us terrific support, thank you. Finally, three gorgeous supporting actresses that I'm sure we would all like to thank. Sarah, Wendy and Julie. I'd like to thank them and compliment them on their parts. Would you please therefore all stand with me and join in a toast. The bride. The bridesmaids.
Yay, the bridesmaids.
The three graces.
Well done, Nick.
Well done, Nick.
Very, very good.
It turns to me, Mr. Spangley, to make the final speech of the evening. I'd like to start by saying, on behalf of the bridesmaids, I'd like to thank Nick for his very kind words about the young ladies. They really do look lovely today, as I'm sure you'll all agree. Incidentally, one of the bridesmaids here, Wendy, was actually Miss Wokingham 1984. And she's actually flown all the way from the United States just to be here today. So can you please all give her a round of applause?
When you going back?
Anyway, despite the heckling, this is the first time I've ever been best man, and I'd really like to keep things brief. Pair of underwear. Nick and I go back a long, long way. Yeah, there are a hole in the middle. It's an old bear of mine. Nick and I go back a long, long way. We first met in the trenches of the Somme during the infamous battle for Prickly Point. Reincarnated many years later, we met again at Reading School in 1975. This time as odious little schoolboys. Whilst very bright, Nick was something of a rebel at school. He studiously copied a set of the school rules and then set about breaking each one in turn by number. And that's true. That's absolutely true. He did do that.
No, it's completely.
I think the only rule he didn't manage to break was that one about shooting a member of staff. Although our headmaster did die under slightly mysterious circumstances. So I'd say that I'd rather hope you don't boast this afternoon, Nick.
I do have an alibi.
Okay. As many of you know, will know, Nick is actually a keen musician. And it's worth recounting that a story that happened quite a while ago. His parents gave us his piano, and we had to move it down the road from Prospect Street in Caversham, down the road to to our house. And on the way, the lights changed to red. And Nick gave an impromptu rendition at the traffic lights to all of the waiting motorists there. I can't remember the piece that he played, but it was terrific anyway. And it's worth recounting here now. Some of you may know he's recently joined the local band Blue Whale, by the way. I've got them down here as a renowned local act. I'll drink to that. Okay.
Stop doing it.
Lost his place.
Thanks, Simon. Following school, we both went our separate ways. He into banking and me to college. But we always kept in touch, if only because he knew the best ways for an impoverished student to handle an irate bank manager. But we also used to meet for those long late night sessions and trips to the curry house. I'm sure he'll testify. To be honest, I never felt that a career in Barclays Bank was right for Nick. For me, he was always more of a NatWest man. And as that lad in the advert says, of course we do. It's not all work here, you know. Turning to a slightly more serious note, it so happens that I actually introduced, in fact Sarah and I first introduced Nick to Suzanne in the first place. I have to report that it wasn't love at first sight, but that was because both were roaring drunk at the time. Roaring. For me, Suzanne was absolutely the right person for Nick, and I told both of them at the time, as they will testify. Yeah. But it was at least a year of constant partying before our happy couple were able to realise this for themselves. You may well ask how I knew that they would be so well suited to one another. The answer is simple. They share some fundamental similarities. Both are bright, outward-going, bordering on the eccentric. If any of you know them, you'll know what I'm talking about. Both have an absolute passion for films, particularly those black and white ones you get late at night on Channel 4, often in Romanian with English subtitles. That's what they like, I tell you, both of them. And both of them love nothing more than to stay in at home of a night. Oh, I have to say I do wonder why they of a night.
I'll explain later.
Over the past year, Nick and Suzanne came to the conclusion that regular 9-to-5 life was not really their cup of tea. And I, for one, am envious of their move. Both are currently gainfully unemployed, dipping their toes in various madcap entrepreneurial schemes as the need arises. To those of us that know them, it could be said that they are at times antisocial, since they rarely seem to come out and, well, socialise. But those of us who know them well will agree that they are in fact far from antisocial. Rather, they both love to play the perfect hosts at their cosy Caversham home. My wife and I have had many great times there with them, as have quite a few of you here today, I'm sure. What tends to happen is that they feed you, they ply you with drink, They run movies, do a little juggling, perhaps the odd card trick or two, all with a cheerful hospitality that is both charming and deeply endearing. I can only conclude that such hospitality must have been handed down from their parents, who have organised this marvellous event today. And it looks like they even got the weather right for the day. That was in brackets, that line.
Just in case.
On a much more serious note, I'd like to share something quite sincere with you all. That is, that I love Nick and Suzanne dearly, and am delighted that they have found such happiness with each other. Let us today celebrate that happiness with them, and prove that love conquers all. I truly hope that married life brings them as much happiness as it has brought to Sandra and me. It's my wife in the corner over there.
Which corner?
Yeah. I'd also like to say what an honour it is to have been chosen by Nick and Suzanne to not only be present on their big day, but also to take an active part in the proceedings. It is truly a magnificent day, as I'm sure you'll all agree.
Yes.
Finally, yeah. Thanks, mate. You saved me. Finally, I would like to thank Roy and Kath for organising this superb occasion today, and would like to propose a toast to them as a gesture of appreciation from all of us. So would you please all stand, and we'll drink to Roy and Kath.
Oh, thank you.
Indeed.
Roy and Kath.
Roy and Kath.
Thank you.
Now, whilst we're on our feet, do you want to sit down? Whilst we're on our feet, I think it's very important that I also propose a toast to our happy couple. So I hope you've got full glasses and didn't knock it all back in one then. And we'll have a toast also to the happy couple.
To the happy couple.
Well done. Now, if you all sit down.
You're doing a grand job.
Thank
you.
Wonderful. Before my duties really finish for the day, I've a couple of tele-messages that I've got to read out. One of these here, the first one is from Bombay. It's quite genuine. And I start laughing. And this is from the Vaswani family in Bombay. All good wishes to Nick and Suzanne for a great and happy future. Our good wishes to the Bailey family for the occasion. God bless. That's from the Vaswanis in Bombay. I have one other that's been passed to me by Nick's mum this afternoon, and it's from the long-lost explorer Hieronymus Bailey, who's apparently currently exploring in the Scilly Isles. The message is as follows: busy drinking your health, let me know when to stop. Thank you very much. It's back to drinking now. No more weather.
Super day, my God.
Yeehaw!
Okay, this is where we take our clothes off and dive into the lake.
All three of them.
Very
Very Miss Wogie of 1984, I forgot.
Thank you.
Somebody out there, he was asking when he was Miss Wogie in 1984.
3 glasses of gin and there it was. The whole
When did you do it?
last night.
Brilliant. You had a hook to head it on.
Right, well, I think we can mix a bit. Yes. Yeah.
Ready?
I want to get my Rachel's up again. You have to remember every time you get up to put it down.
Yeah.
So let me out.
secrets down your head and sit with me here by the secrets and let down your hair and sit with me here